I don't know how many times I've recorded this, but hi. Hello. Hi, book friends. Welcome back to the Bookcast. This is episode 125 of my author podcast, where I talk about reading and writing Black love in real life as a self-published author. I am coming to you live from my in-progress recording closet. And I'm squoze up in here. I got my little desk and a lamp and my mic and my headphones and my computer. And it's a little hot in here, but other than that, it's all pretty good. I'm pretty happy at the moment. I need some like soundproofing on the wall so the noise doesn't like bounce off the walls, but for the most part, I'm feeling good about this little room, and I'm excited about doing some self-narrated audio coming up soon. So anyhow, hi, who am I? Who am I? If you are new to this podcast, I am DL White. I'm an Atlanta-based author. I am also very much a reader, and I am a storyteller. If you like this podcast or the idea of this podcast, if you're new, welcome, by the way. The best way to support me and podcasts like this is to buy the books. Booksbydlwhite.com/shop has all of your Books by DL White needs, including my newest release, Missing Persons, a young investigations novel. I'm pretty proud of it. We're going to talk a lot about Missing Persons today. You'll also find print editions on my bookshop.org shelf. So that way you're supporting indie bookstores and me at the same time. You can find the link to my shelf on my links page at booksbydlwhite.com/link in bio. Today is Sunday, August 17th, 2025, and I'm in Atlanta in my new recording room. I'm trying to call it a studio, but also trying not to be too... I don't know. I don't know what's the word, but anyway, my new recording studio. I have a mic, I have a drink, and a lot on my mind. So after a bitty beverage break, let's get into it. Welcome back. I hope your break was refreshing, as was mine. Today's beverage was, I have a little, I don't know how many ounces that is, like a 30-ounce Stanley with some Vitamin Water Zero squeezed, which is their lemonade. I put in some splashes of sugar-free raspberry syrup and a mini can of Sprite Zero over ice. It's very refreshing and delicious. I'm excited about it. Let's begin with the book report, because if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to read a book. I am at 112 of 175 books read on my Goodreads challenge. I am at 64% toward my goal. I'm 3 books ahead of schedule, and I am darn happy about that. What I got read this week, let's get into that because I'm excited about it. Awakening, a Winston Hill's novel by C.M. Barnes. So now C.M. Barnes is one of my new writing ass writer friends. She also co-hosts the Lit Library podcast. I had the pleasure of appearing on the Lit Library podcast with C.M. Barnes and D.H. Renfro. We talked a lot about writing. We talked a lot about reading. We just had a good ass time. So you want to hop on over there to the Lit Library and take in that episode because it was really good. And I had a ton of fun. But let's talk about Awakening, because let me just admit something to you all, to you people. Even though I write the books with the sexy times in them, I am not much of an erotica girl. So I approach an erotica typically on like an author by author or a book by book basis. And the book by book basis of Awakening was yes. This was super good, not only because there's a lot of super hot sex in it, but there's also a really great story in this. So if you are looking for a story that's strictly sex, you won't find it in Awakening. There is a romance, and there is also an erotic tinge to it. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, if you know what I'm saying. I think there's a book 3 coming, and I'm just gonna say I'm not an erotica reader, but I am a C.M. Barnes reader, so go ahead and bring it. This is actually book 2. Book 1 is Enigma, which probably should have finished that one first, but whatever. New books are shiny. New books are very shiny. This one came out August 8th, and I think I finished this one on the 11th, so I jumped right into it. I did. I also read The Devil's Advocate, which is Eddie Flynn #6 by Steve Kavanaugh. Something else I just jumped right into. Never heard of Steve Kavanaugh before. I don't know who Eddie Flynn is, but let me tell you, baby, after reading this book, I'm a Steve Kavanaugh fan. I am already deep into his catalog. I have already read 13, which is Eddie Flynn #4 by Steve Kavanaugh, and I'm currently reading Witness 8 by Steve Kavanaugh, which is Eddie Flynn #6. I'm sorry, Eddie Flynn #8. Yes, I am reading them out of order. And do I already have the next book on pre-order? Absolutely, I do. Now, you'll recognize I have a little bit of an obsessive thing about authors. When I find somebody who has a back catalog and I really like their writing, I will just dig up everything they've ever written. I did the same thing with Robert Dugoni a couple summers ago. I read through the entire Tracy Cross White series in about a month, and now I'm just fiending for every new Tracy Cross White book there is. I did the same thing with Kendra Elliott and with what is that woman's name? Melissa something? Kendra Elliott, and I don't know, somebody. It'll come to me at 3 a.m. Anyhow, it's what I do. I was never a series girl before, but, give me a good legal thriller, and I am in there. I'm in there, man. I also read The Dating Prohibition by Taj McCoy. This was an advanced listening copy. I think I got this from NetGalley. It publishes on September 2nd, and it's really good. It's really good. It's super cute. It is, I don't remember the story offhand. Like, I remember it, but not like exact details. I would have to read it a couple more times to really pull details out of it. I do remember that it was good. It was good. Like, it's your romance. It's a typical like feel good, steamy, sweet, like kick up your feet and squeal while you're reading it romance. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stop saying you know what I'm saying, because I listen back on my own podcast because I like the sound of my own voice. And I say that a lot, and I've got to stop saying that. It's going on my list of things I'm not allowed to say anymore. We'll see how much I obey myself. Again, I mentioned I'm currently reading Witness 8, which is Eddie Flynn #8 by Steve Kavanaugh. I'm reading the series out of order because I'm just impatient, and I'm reading what I can get to, what's available via Libby, Hoopla. This one's on Everand, so I'm just bouncing back and forth. They can be read in any order. There is like a bit of a continuing story, but it's not that hard to grasp. So I've been on a really a legal thriller kick. And I'm not mad at it, especially since, writing missing persons. Like, I love romance, but legal thrillers and crime thrillers and police procedurals, those are my jam. That's what I read when I am not reading romance. So, quick rundown of what's been on my screen, because y'all know me. I have to avoid what's going on out there by being deep into my to-be-watched list. So, there is a couple of documentaries on Netflix I've been into. One on crack, cocaine, corruption, and conspiracy. I think I watched this a few years ago, but I've been watching it back just because if there's anything on a drug outside of marijuana, I'm watching it. Heroin, meth, cocaine. I for some reason, I'm into it. I will watch. Opioids. Yeah, I'm into it. I don't know. And then I watched Fit for TV, The Reality of the Biggest Loser. I was really looking forward to this and counting down until it was live. So you bet your butt on Friday night, I made myself something yummy for dinner and I sat down and watched that. It's 3 episodes. It's a very good watch. I think if you were at all interested in The Biggest Loser, you should definitely tune in. I thought it was a good watch. And then I watched bits of I Am a Killer. I want to be into it, but it drags for me a little bit. I'm kind of in and out. And then Hightown, I do remember watching that when it was on, I think it was on HBO, and I never got past episode 1, and I still haven't made it past episode 1. I don't think Hightown is going to work out for me, but you know, it's very, episode 1's very flashy and there's a lot happening. You know, a woman, I don't know, finds a dead girl on the beach and then she's in a car accident and gets fired and a bunch of like, you know, it's a lot of down on their luck and like, I don't have anything else to do, so I might as well solve a murder type of thing. So I don't know. We'll see. And then I have been really digging into my Philo subscription. So I subscribe to Hulu TV. So I get all of the TV plus all the movies, etc. on Hulu. And I also subscribe to Philo so I can catch all the channels that Hulu doesn't have, like A&E, History, Lifetime, Hallmark, BET, etc. So, you know, I get all of that. And I share the subscription with one of my friends, and she watches all the housewife shows, all the reality shows. So like I'm scrolling through and I'm like, what are you watching? But I have been kind of digging some of the movies that they have had. So I watched Sinister, Surgeon, and Safe Room, which I think were both on Hallmark. Those were very good movies. Like kind of the acting's kind of iffy, but the story was good enough to hold me. Sinister Surgeon was about a woman that joins a cosmetic surgery practice, and one of the surgeons is suspected of killing his patients. And then Safe Room was with Boris Kojo and Nicole R.E. Parker, and this young single woman with her autistic son move into a house, and her son witnesses a murder, and now they have to try to fend off the killers. You know, Boris Kojo is also in it, and I haven't seen them in a movie together since I can't remember what movie they were in together. It wasn't Soul Food. It was something. I don't remember. But it was pretty good. It was actually pretty good. It was fun seeing Boris in that kind of role. And I heard he actually also directed that. So good stuff. And then the Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries. I watched one of those. It's a series of movies featuring one investigator. So it's not an investigative series like Murder, She Wrote or like Matlock, where it's like a one episode, like episodic, but it's a actual movie. So this was like 202 minutes of one movie. So I watched one of the Aurora Tea Garden Mysteries and it was pretty good. And then I watched Ruby Herring Mysteries. There's only 3 of them, and I was kind of upset about that because I would watch 10,000 of them. Silent Witness, Her Last Breath, and Prediction Murder, all really good. I mean, they're Hallmark mysteries. So, you know, kind of like predictable, so acting, but also entertaining. Like, you know, I'll spend, 90 minutes watching that. So that was pretty good. And then I started watching Prison Brides on Lifetime, and that was interesting. I only watched 1 episode of that. That's about all I could take of Prison Brides. So let's pop over to the writing and publishing update because it's short, because I'm not writing. I'm not really writing anything. I'm not writing anything commercial until September. I'm giving my brain a bit of a break. And I finished Missing Persons. Literally August 4th is when I got my second pass edits back, and it went up on the 5th. So I did my edits super lickety split and put it up, and it started distributing on the 5th. And then I've decided I'm just going to take a break through August. And in September, I'm going to pick up Powder Lake 4. And I think I have already determined that I've just got to, what I have, I kind of need to rip it apart and put it back together. I have some of what I feel like is some stream of consciousness writing in that. And I kind of need to like really pare it down to actual story and stop rambling and really figure out what this story is about. Like, what are my themes and what do my characters want and why can't they have it, and how can we get through to this, and how can I, bring my themes through even deeper? How can I bring some drama to this story? So I'm going to start working on that in September. September and October are going to be solely focused on Powder Lake 4, and then I'm hoping I can get that to my editor early November so that it can be out in December. And then while she has the edits, I'm just going to pound out something quick for a holiday short at the end of the year, I hope. So I am writing a little bit of fun, though. August is always our Awesome August challenge over at the NSYNC Fiction Archive. It is the time of year when we have our biggest, most popular challenge. I don't know why I'm saying most popular, because I really only have 5 stories. It's our lowest participation year ever, but the boys have been very, very dormant, and so there's not really much out there to encourage them. Since the challenge came back, I feel like we have had lower participation every year, but the challenge came back the year that the boys came off hiatus, and then we have not seen them since. So one of them has been on tour for 2 years, not naming any names, but hopefully we might see some more from them, and that might be a little bit encouraging and give the writers, I guess, a little bit of inspiration. Anyhow, I am writing a fun little ditty called The Wedding Guest. It's my Awesome August 2025 challenge story where Joey drags JC to a wedding as his +1, but they end up becoming emergency groomsmen when 2 of the original guys get alcohol poisoning. So JC meets a lovely bridesmaid named Sabine, who's actually an event planner and a former Backstreet Boys fan. I like throwing the Backstreet Boys in. I am not a Backstreet fan. They only sing one song that I can handle. But I like to put a little bit of like banter into a story because I know so many of the readers and writers are fans of both groups. Lots of chemistry in there, lots of banter about boy band rivalries, and a very, very pink wedding reception. At one point, JC mentions he feels like he's sitting inside a uterus. So needless to say, I'm having a ball. I'm 4 chapters in. It's about to get a little bit spicy. I haven't been cross-posting this one to my short fiction Substack, shortfictionbydlwhite.substack.com. I think I'm going to wait until I finish it and then port it over all at once. If I do at all, because if anything gets 0 views, it's my fan fiction over at Substack. You know what I'm saying? See? I have to stop saying that. It's just a thing I say when I don't know what else to say. So, stop saying that. All right, our main topic this week is missing persons. This was a new release. It came out August 5th, which was coincidentally my nephew's 23rd birthday, I think. I don't know. Justice, I can't remember when you were born. He's either 23 or 24. I think he's 23. And my little brother's 50th. And I only know how old he is because it's my age -1. Sometimes I have to call him and ask how old he is so I can remember how old I am. So a little bit of a reality check on the release and the sales of this. This came out very slow. It wasn't really announced. I did not do pre-orders for this book. I did do a very short arc period. The advanced readers seem to really like the book, and reviews are slowly trickling in. I don't make a huge habit of checking them, but I do like to see where the ratings are sitting, and they're looking pretty good. Sales numbers, though, are in. It's actually like the first 2 weeks we're at 45 units sold, so 166 in profit. I did run a couple of ads, but most of them were like, a dollar here, a dollar there. I think I did an ad for like $20 on Facebook. Like I don't ever really spend big ad money. So it's not like I have like thousands of dollars in ads out there. 166. And I want to talk about what those numbers really mean, how it feels when your launch doesn't hit like you thought it would, and why I am sharing real numbers instead of spinning them into a success story. Because if I'm going to be one thing, I'm going to be realistic, and I'm going to give you the big picture, because I know that there are not only readers who aspire to be authors, but also authors who are just beginning their career. And there's a lot to be said for having a positive outlook, and I absolutely do, but I like to be realistic, because what keeps me up at night and what pokes at me, when the sun goes down, is like the reality of this business, how much I spend and what can I do better and what kind of promo can I put out there and how can I get my books in front of eyes and how can I entice people to read this book. Those are things that I think about all the time. And so if I'm thinking about them all the time, other people are thinking about them all the time too. So let's all think about them all the time together, So here's a big picture. I've already beaten my 2024 earnings. Last year I made $2,438 total. Like that pays like 1 month of my mortgage. This year through August, I'm at 2,822, 383 ahead of my full 2024 total with 4 months to go. If I keep at this pace, if I'm adding in my in-person sales, I did Black Romance Book Fest this year, and I did Indie Love this year, I will be at 4,233 for the year, which is a 73% growth over last year. So, I guess the moral of this story is get out of the house, go sell books. So this year, I'm also doing Black Book Bash, which will also add to my revenue for the year. So, in-person sales, I have to say, count for a lot. In-person expenses are also a lot. So remember, I talked about after Black Romance Book Fest, I have, 3 days of hotel, and I had, 3 days of parking and food, plus the cost of printing and, shipping books. And so I have to cover all of that. So it's not exactly profit, but it is revenue. And a lot of those expenses I can expense as a taxable cost. So definitely keeping track of all those to turn over to my CPA. So missing persons first week of $166, not really Instagram worthy. It's not really worth bragging about, but it's part of a business that's growing steadily. That first week represents about 6% of my year-to-date earnings. It's not amazing for a launch. It's actually disappointing to me, but it's not catastrophic either when you look at the whole picture. So reality of the minuscule plus the whole picture. But I want to talk about holding both truths when you're celebrating real growth, but you're being honest about an individual disappointment. And what comes next when your book launch is just okay, but your overall trajectory seems solid. A little heart-to-heart with myself that I feel like I have to have after every book launch. I am not ex-author. I am not a popular author. I am not an author that sells gangbusters. I am not busting the knobs off any doors when my books release. And this is something that I have to tell myself to sort of counter the feelings of disappointment every time I release and I sell like 4 books. And, some days I feel like I could be good enough to pitch a trad editor or a publisher. The next day I feel like I could never put out another book and nobody would care. Like nobody's clamoring for my books. Nobody's like, oh my God, when's your next book out? They're so good. And when I say nobody, I mean nobody like outside of the regular people that will buy my book and read it. Like I get a lot of, I bought your book and it's coming up and I'll get to it. And I don't have the kind of book where people are like, shove everything off the desk and open this immediately because I just know it's going to be so good. I have a comfort read. I have a read. People know it's going to be good, and so they're not really in a hurry to dig into it. I don't get messy. I don't get dramatic. I just have like a feel good story, a soft place to land. And this is a thing that I tell myself that this is my lane and this is where I want to swim. But also I'm upset that I'm not in another lane and I don't swim elsewhere. And that duality in my mind drives me crazy, but also like I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with that feeling. Like I announced missing persons and there was so little fanfare about the blurb release, about talking about the book, about the cover reveal. I felt like I kind of considered not publishing it. Like, I mean, if y'all don't want it, I don't have to spend the time and the money having it edited and publishing it. But who am I thinking? Who am I? What am I talking about? It's absolutely coming out, you know? Like, I do feel like I do so much cheerleading for people and I don't get that in return. Like, am I really not that good? Are people just being nice? You know? There's an emotional whiplash with being an author. It's very real. I can swing from maybe I should query an agent or an editor to maybe I should quit in the same day. And I went through this with Elysium, a lot with Elysium. Like I almost quit after Elysium because I put my ass into that book, like my ass and both my feet into that book. That's the first book where I paid for editing and I was like, this book is sexy. This book is straightforward. This book is going to catch all of the girlies and they're all just going to love it. And I put it out and people were like, okay, thanks. I almost quit after Elysium. For real. I almost quit. It's hot in here. Let me open this door. Woo! There's some cool air. Sometimes that feeling could be based on a single review. Sometimes it's based on lack of response to a social media post. It's not about my worth as a writer, really, but it's about vulnerability of putting my creative work into the world and not feeling like it gets a good response. The cheerleading imbalance kind of hits me hard because I show up for a lot of people for everyone else's launches and I celebrate their wins and I share their posts and then my announcement gets like 8 likes and no comments. It doesn't mean people don't care about the work. I think it means that social media engagement is weird and it's unpredictable, and some of my biggest fans are the quietest online. I do still get a lot of DMs and messages and comments under older posts. Like, I read this and it was so good. Like I recently talked about how Tori, who is Black Romance Connoisseur, had posted about Calculated Risk about a month ago. And I just so appreciate how she goes hard for indie authors. And every so often I get a notification about replies to that post and I never look at them because like you never know what people are saying, especially on TikTok. But last night I went through and I read every single comment and it was so full of, oh my God, I love her. I saw her at Black Romance Bookfest and I didn't get to say hi. And I just bought, this book in the Black Diamond series and it was really good. And I got to get this book and I just love rubies. And like, it was so full of good words that I really, really, really needed to hear because I was looking at numbers for missing persons and feeling very, fuck this shit. It was feeling very, I don't need to write another goddamn book. It was feeling very, why am I doing this? Like, if I do this, if I never release another book ever again, will anybody care? I was feeling things, you know what I'm saying? You can be genuinely talented and just not have a fan base that aches for your work. Like I do see other people that be like, so-and-so is like my ride or die, like my queen. I die for her pen. I love her books. Like, can I get a book on so-and-so? coming out soon. Like, are you writing anything new? I need a new book. Put out your pre-orders for Black Romance Book Fest right now. That event is 9 months from now. I am not thinking about Black Romance Book Fest until 2026, but there are people asking authors to put up their pre-orders so they can pay for them, so they can be sure to get their books in May of 2026. Like, I ain't got it. I ain't got that. Some authors are really amazing and they don't get the recognition. Some of us are out here just very quietly pushing forward. And like, as much as I feel like I don't need to be talking about nobody but me, I don't need to be talking about nobody's books but D.L. White's books. I also like feel that I know what it feels like to not get recognition for hard work. And I see people out there grinding, and I see people out there releasing good books and not really getting a whole lot of fanfare about it. And if anybody is gonna pump you up, if anybody is gonna pimp your book out, it's gonna be me. That's an NSYNC lyric. Anyway, so the growth paradox are that my numbers show steady progress, but my growth feels very slow when I'm living it day by day. Like, do I sell a few books a day? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still at over $200 for the month, which is a good month for me. Like $100 is a good month for me. I'm building something real, even if it doesn't feel exciting in the moment. 815 units sold means 815 people chose to spend money on my words. That's not nobody. That's not nobody. That's a small theater worth of people who have trusted me enough to buy my book. So the truth is, I might be better than I think, but building an audience takes longer than perhaps my talent deserves. I think new and seasoned authors need to hear this part, this ruminating and this like soul searching and this heart to heart type of situation, and could stand with being brutally honest about our books and about our talent. Every launch for me, every launch since COVID has felt like a really slow burn, like pushing a boulder uphill. The releases have been slow, like not for everybody, but for me and for smaller authors. The reading landscape has really changed. People's attention spans, their spending habits, how they discover books is all different. And what used to work doesn't work anymore. And nobody wants to admit that launches are weaker than they used to be. I see authors doing elaborate launch campaigns, Kickstarters, and, TikTok stuff and manufactured controversy to get eyes and whatever the latest algorithm hack might be. But I am not willing to turn my books into content. I'm not a performance artist. I rarely put my face on social media. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like my face. So I don't put it out there because I can just imagine some troll getting a hold of it and no, I can't take any of that. So I would rather have authentic, slow growth than viral moments that don't translate into actual leadership. Because yes, you can go viral with a book or a hot take and not have any sales on your books at all. Or you can have negative sales on your books. You can have a bunch of people 1-star your book on Goodreads, and you can have people return all the books they have ever bought and put you into the negative on Amazon. So maybe, everyone's posting about their quote unquote successful launches and being quote unquote overwhelmed by the response. But how many of us are being honest about the numbers without conflating it and without trying to spin it into a huge success story? How many of us are struggling with the same slow burn but afraid to say it? The publishing community has to have more people that are willing to say, this shit is hard. My launch was mediocre, but I'm still a good writer. And I'm still a good writer. Maybe I don't pack a punch, but I do have staying power. I am out here for the long haul, currently for the long haul. Like, even if I stopped publishing, I would never pull my books offline. They would all just stay online, and then I would just like go to my corner and like just be bitter about it and read my face off. But readers who find my books definitely stick around. That's worth more to me than being a flash in the pan viral moment type of author. Building a sustainable career to me is different than building a moment. So, at this point, I feel like I do better when I choose authenticity. Authenticity. That is a word I can say over algorithms, and it's a harder path, but potentially a more lasting one. So that's enough navel gazing and chit chat for the day. It is Sunday afternoon at 6:15 p.m. I have to get this episode edited and up, and then I'm gonna go finish my Steve Kavanaugh book and find some food to eat before my stomach turns in on itself. But I certainly hope you had a great time listening today, and I hope that some of this episode resonated with you, whether you're a reader or you're an author or you aspire to be an author. I hope something in it spoke to you and you were able to translate it to something that means something to you. If that did happen, please share this episode with another author or another reader who might need to hear it. And you can also please leave a rating wherever you listen or drop a comment on Apple, Spotify, Substack, or YouTube. You can also hit my website. It'll be at booksbydlwhite.com/bookcast/125 and on my Substack at authordlwhite.substack.com. You can find me online at Blue Sky at booksbydlwhite.com or on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, or Substack at authordlwhite. You can support this podcast by shopping my books at booksbydlwhite.com/shop. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/booksbydlwhite. You can share this podcast or join the newsletter. Find all of these links and more at booksbydlwhite.com/link in bio. Big thanks to my monthly supporters at Buzzsprout and those who send me the random coffee. Like Jason Graham will just occasionally send me a coffee over at buymeacoffee.com. I so appreciate it. You are definitely in my heart and you keep this mic turned on. The Bookcast is written, produced, and edited by me, D.L. White. Any theme music and sound effects are provided by Pixabay. I will be back next week. Until then, be well, read something good, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.